Fawaz D.GerGes is the chair of Contemporary Middle East Studies at the London School of Economics, also the author of The New Middle East, Protest and Revolution in the Arab World, and he joins me tonight here in London. Fawaz, thanks very much. So I mean, it's not entirely unexpected because the credibility of this group rests, right, on it carrying through with these things.
We are not surprised. I don't think anyone is surprised. The Islamic State, Hala, is trying to leverage the major assets that it has against the Americans and the Westerners. And what are the major assets? The major assets are the American and Western hostages. It threatened to kill the second American hostage if the Americans continue to attack its bases and men in Iraq. The United States did. They killed the second American hostage. I'm sorry to say that I already see the writing on the wall for Mr. Haynes, because it's coming. The fight has been joined. The fight has been joined. And the Islamic State has very few cards to play against the Western powers and the Americans. The hostages are the only major cards that it has.
What should the response be? Because understandably, American citizens will watch these two videos and immediately want to punish, as we were discussing with Athena, the people responsible for this murder, these murders. What is effective, though, against ISIS?
You asked earlier, Hala, what can be done? This is a matter of years, not months. Any knee-jerk reaction is counterproductive.
But at the same time, you can't dilly-dally. I mean, there's somewhere in the middle there.
So why the Islamic State is behaving in the way it does? It's hurting a great deal in Iraq. The tide is beginning to turn against the Islamic State. The psychological invincibility of the Islamic State is gone. It's losing bases in Iraq all over the places. The fact is, it has so much on its plate, it cannot chew. What you need to do is really a well-constructed strategy that takes into account the local communities, the regional and the international. And I think in this particular sense, say what have you about Barack Obama, he makes it very clear, American firepower, American air power will not defeat the Islamic State. Local communities must take the fight.
But you're saying they're on the back foot, but these are people are in control of Raqqa. They're still in control of Mosul.
Absolutely.
They haven't been pushed out of Mosul. So this isn't, it doesn't seem, I mean, they may suffer smaller, like merely smaller defeats like this, but that's a village.
You're absolutely correct. This is a matter of years. But the reality is in Iraq, I mean, the Islamic State or ISIS has built its reputation on what? On psychology. The fact it's invincible. It's winning. It's a winning horse. This is the message. The whole idea of, I mean, the celebration of savagery. The celebration of savagery on the part of the Islamic State is collective choice. It's trying to convince, basically, its supporters, we are winning. Jump on the bandwagon and also terrorize its enemies. They try, but obviously it's not working. The fact that they killed the second American hostage, and the fact is, and I hope I am wrong, if they kill the British Mr. Haynes, what does it tell you? It tells you they have very few options, but expect more bloodshed. More and more Syrians and Iraqis and Westerners are going to be killed.
Now, can you defeat ISIS without going into Syria?
No.
No, you can't.
You cannot, and that's not my words. The highest, the most senior American general, he said, you cannot defeat ISIS in Iraq.
I mean on the ground, I meant
on the ground.
Yeah.
And that's why the strategy can be really summarized as follows. Trying to break the backbone of ISIS in Iraq by having a multilateral coalition and containment in Syria. Unless you have a political solution in Syria, because the Americans and the Western powers don't have many options in Syria, don't have many allies. So you have the Syrian government, and you have al-Nusra Front, which is the official arm of Al-Qaeda, and you have, of course, I mean, the Islamic State.
Which by ISIS standards, Nusra is actually more moderate, which tells you something about ISIS.
It's not moderate at all, actually. The Americans...
I was going to... No, but I mean, it's not. Yes. But if considered to ISIS, it's moderate. It tells you something.
And this tells you where we are.
It tells you where we are on the spectrum.
Yes, of course.